Matt, welcome back to Taco Potato Mustang. I just got a notice that some packages arrived. But I haven't been outside yet. Appears to be correct. I was expecting one of those. The second one I am not. So hopefully I didn't just ruin a surprise Christmas gift of some sort. But I will investigate and see what we're working with here. We'll just pretend like the second box is not here for now. Let's see what's in this box of Palomar. Aha! Radiator hoses. So, let's see, 1, 2, lower radiator hose, and a few more, and some hardware. Great. So if you watched my last video, where my friend Ben and I did the power steering pump replacement, I think I mentioned that we discovered a slight coolant leak on the lower radiator hose. So I wanted to replace that. And then I was just taking a look. I had the hood popped a couple days ago and I was just taking a look at the rest of the hoses. And they don't look terrible, but I think if I'm going to replace the lower radiator hose and drain the coolant, I might as well do the rest while I'm at it. I'm sure anybody who's ever worked on a Fox body probably sympathizes with that feeling. And then I'm also trying to decide what to do next. I have a few random things kind of hovering, floating, and I'm trying to decide the best course of action. So I was gonna buy some new tires, but it's, oh my God, I got some hair in my eye. But it's, it's December, winter just started, and tires do have a finite lifespan. So I'll just stick with the all seasons that I have on the stock turbine style wheels until I can get around to, well, actually they're up here, to cleaning and painting these or replacing the wheel cover, the covers for the pony wheels that I bought a couple weeks ago. So the other things that I am thinking about, and I could definitely use some perspective, some guidance, some thoughts, opinions, whatever, from the people who subscribe to my channel and follow my threads on the forums, is whether to make an attempt at, actually I'm trying to think of the best way to lay it out. So I do have some leaks that I'd like to get rid of because I'd eventually like to take this car for the occasional track day, and I do not want to be a danger to myself and others. So from what I can tell, the rear main seal is a problem, and I understand that that's a big issue for these cars. And also, I think there is still some slight leaks around the oil pan. So I know that I have had some people on the forums have tried to convince me that based on some of the other stuff that I've been able to accomplish with this car the last almost a year, I should be able to do the rear main seal and also replace the clutch, which it makes sense to do while the transmission is out in my garage. I'm not super confident in the ability to do that, but it is a project car. I would like to learn how to do that. So if I have to do it in the future, it's not as intimidating, or maybe I'll be smart enough to know better by then. So I've been thinking about ordering McLeod clutch kit and flywheel, which also comes with a rear main seal, and then just checking to make sure what other tools and parts I would need to get the transmission pulled out, replace the rear main seal, replace the clutch and flywheel, and anything else that comes with it, any supporting parts. I'm also thinking of replacing the gaskets for the valve covers and for the upper and lower intake manifold, because in the hopes that maybe that will reduce some of the leaking. I can't say with certainty that those are a source of leaks, but it seems possible, and I have the parts. I guess my concern is just that I've seen enough threads where people take something apart and then they discover that something else is broken, and I'm a little worried that if I start taking the engine apart that I'll come across something that I don't want to see, and then that'll lead to eventually having to have the engine rebuilt or something along those lines, which I know that that could be inevitable, but I'd prefer to put it off as long as possible. So I want to decide if I'm going to try and do some of the gaskets while I am, also doing like the hoses, the coolant hoses, because I think you have to drain coolant to do the intake manifold gaskets anyway. And I'd also like to check get the car up enough so I can check the transmission fluid anyways. I have a set of high flow catalytic converters that I want to have welded into the car, but I'm also thinking that when I have the car up, if I decide to do the rear main seal and the clutch, that maybe I would also want to, obviously I have to take the part of the exhaust out, and that might be a time to kind of examine exhaust bolts, hardware, make sure everything is like in the condition that it needs to be in, if nothing needs to be replaced. I've been told that when you have the transmission out is also a really good time to replace the headers, and I think I don't know that I want to have the catalytic converters welded onto the X pipe until I know that I don't have to replace anything else with the exhaust. So trying to think of what else there might have been. Yeah, I do want to do, I also need to, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but I used to have some subwoofers in the hatch, and there is still a, probably can't see it here. There's actually, I think that's some of the wiring. There is another amplifier underneath the passenger seat, and I haven't taken out all of the cables or wiring for the old stereo setup. And for some reason, the only speakers that currently work are these aftermarket tweeters. There's one there, and there's one on the other side of the steering wheel. So when I'm playing music, there's zero bass, and all I can hear is those two little tweeters. So I'd like to get some of the wiring figured out on the speakers, and at least have some slightly better music options when I'm driving the car. Yeah, so I need to do that. Trying to think of what else. Maybe if I pop the hood, it'll jog my memory. do also want to get rid of this sort of rat's nest of wiring, or find a way to clean it up a little bit. And this cable here, I believe, is somehow connected to the stereo. It might have had something to do with the subwoofers. I'd also like to get some sort of battery tie down, so when I do drive the car on the track, it's not a total disaster. I think that's it for now. Oh, another thing I just remembered, I did notice some corrosion on where these hoses connect to the water pump, and I was reading that if there's any play in the water pump pulley, it doesn't seem like, that it might be time to replace the pump, or that you can look up. I think there's a thing called a weep hole that you can look up underneath and see if there's any looks to be appearance of any like leaks, that it might be an indication it needs to be replaced. Although I need to do a little bit more reading about that. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna get to doing much with the Fox this weekend. Maybe one of these nights, if it's not, it is pretty cold right now. I mean, I guess I could start working on it now, but I wouldn't have much time. I want to try and get a sense of what makes the most sense for moving forward. I mean, my priorities are, getting rid of the leaks in the most efficient way possible, and trying to avoid doing anything that will lead to me having to replace the engine or rebuild the engine or whatever. Yeah, so if you have any thoughts or any suggestions, any ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments, or leave a comment on one of my various threads on the different Mustang forums. I'm on like all of them, I think. Yeah, so that's my my call for help, or just yeah. Okay, so I just confirmed that my wife did not order the thing that I was not expecting. So let's get this open and see what we're dealing with here. Made that work. Motive gear. That's a huge sticker. If I can find a spot for it on the toolbox. Jesus. We must do something to verify the correct gear ratio. Let's see what's going on here. Ring and pinion, obviously, for the rear end. I'm assuming a Fox body Mustang. Let's see. What does it say here? The gear tooth count and the pinion gear tooth count. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. It's either 40 or 41. And let's see. Appears to be 10. So these could be 410 gears. Unless my math is way off. Well, I have to say, I was not planning on getting 410 gears, but I guess I could give these a try and see how much more fun and less fuel efficient they make the Fox body. I'm going to venture a guess here, and then I'm going to check my text messages that these probably came as a gift from Ben, but stand by. Yep, definitely a gift from Ben, and also my friend Derek, because like, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe longer, Derek and I bought Ben a set of 430 gears for his Mustang. Yeah, so, and also in case my math was false, this does say 410 and this also says 410, so I assume that means something. So it appears as though my hand has been forced on what type of gear I will be going with on the Fox body. I had been thinking about doing something like a 355, maybe a 373, but I guess a 410 will work. I mean, I'll give it a try, see how I like driving the car. I'm sure it'll be fun and not at all crazy. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Never driven a car with 410s. I think I've just driven a car with 430s and 373s and stock gearing. So we'll see how this goes. Just that's definitely a thing that I'm not too keen on trying to install myself. So I will be calling a Mustang shop to get a quote on having the gears installed. Yeah. So anyways, assuming that I'm not going to get anything else done this weekend, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if you have any thoughts on the order to proceed as far as handling the leaks, addressing some of the gasket replacement, yeah. Thanks for watching my video. If you're new to my channel, please hit subscribe and keep an eye out for more updates as I continue my planning on the Fox Body Mustang project. Stay healthy, stay safe. Peace out.